thought he was going to keep running like Forrest Gump.
Don't forget the miners' hats on.
Everyone else was showered and halfway home.
I like Pavlich forward again too, boys. Johnson and Main.
Melbourne by 25 points. Start of the second half. Maloney out of the middle, the organiser. To half forward around his body. De Boer, pursued by Pettit. Didn't quite maintain possession, and that's a opportunity for Howe. Long to Watts. Good body position, Watts. And kick to the right side.
It was. He predicted the drop zone beautifully. We've seen him take 2 contested marks now in that sort of area of the ground. And that's got to be fantastic for his confidence. I'm sure the coaching staff, they've been waiting for this type of contest from Jack Watts for a long time. Just used his body very well and just got rid of his direct opponent far too easily on that occasion. And that was the youngster.
Well, he kicked the opening goal of the second quarter in similar circumstances where he took the one-hander, and Watts comes in and drills the goal.
Just the start Melbourne needed. Centre clearance. They really got smashed in the centre clearances in the first half. 20-10 Freo's favour. And Jack Watts, he's starting to rise as a player. We know he's had a lot of pressure on him as the #1 draft pick. It was a beautiful kick from Howe. Kicked it to Watts' advantage. And I just like the hip movement and the body movement of Watts here. He read the flight of the ball beautifully, held his ground out, and then just at the last minute, a la any key forward, just gets the backline player offline. Terrific grab.
Kicked the first goal, the Demons, in the first of each of the quarters so far. And Jack Watts has got a couple. Green's got 4. The multiple goal kickers for the Demons, and all the rest single goal kickers. Griffin in the middle did well to swat it down. Now, they've had them covered in this area. Fife will get a free here. They've done well in the stoppages today, Fremantle. Fife has got the ball right in the middle of the G. Hunt road end, left of screen for Fremantle in this third quarter. Got the sun in the eyes down that end as well. Kick is really ordinary. The intercept mark by Pettit. The little handball over the top to Watts. He made the right decision going back inside to Pettit again. Good position. Martin did well with the one hand, held out with the other. Here's the dangerous Jara. Hasn't done a lot. Wants that to bend along the ground. Didn't work for him. It did bend, but not enough.
Well, that's when you do go along the ground, and that's when you want to get the oval ball to bounce on end over end and get that trajectory to go towards the goal.
Just didn't grip enough, did it?
And the reason for, as Spud said, you want it to go along the ground in that circumstance. If you kick around the corner, it's bending away from the goal, whereas along the ground is going to bend towards the goal. So spot on there, Spud. Here's Frawley. I know you didn't get up that end a lot, but you saw a lot whiz past you.
I did see it
from his man.
Did see a couple, but I think this is important that Melbourne win the clearances. They just need to steady. They've got a really good lead. Just maintain the intensity.
They're all fried up, Melbourne. Of course, fried up. There's a horse running over in Perth today. Should win, Spud. Keep an eye on that, fried up. And there's an opportunity for Sylvia, wrapped up in the tackle, the Dockers.
Well, the Freo need to fire up. It's as simple as that. And as I said, we talk about Stephen Hill here. You can just see him the clearance. Sylvia on Stephen Hill. They put a really close checking job on Stephen Hill.
Smacking him for the ball. Barlow again gets hold of it. By the way, he's the equal highest possession getter at the moment for the Fremantle Dockers. Mazungu on his favoured left. That's a magnificent kick. Almost got there. Johnson. Frawley's got to do it now. He did well. He kept his feet. Sign of a really good, strong player. When others go to ground, to keep your feet is a difficult thing to do under pressure.
And that was good work. Once again, Garland, good support to Frawley. He came back with the fly of the ball, just got the fist on, but then Garland at ground level just put a block on as well. So Frawley could clear the area.
Gawn and Griffin. Griffin done a great job in the absence of Sandlands. Hasn't got enough credit for what he's done for the Fremantle Dockers. And I wonder whether he'll stay in the side when Sandlands does come back as that second ruckman. Here's Sylvia. Pavlich over the line. Will he, when Sandlands comes back, boys? Will he get another look at it, Jonathan Griffin?
Oh, he will. Not. I think they'll. He might. No, they'll want more run, I think, Brian. Oh, no doubt.
Stay with Zach Clark, do you think?
So. Well, I'll tell you, great position to be in. Whoever's in form, play.
Yep.
But definitely the three won't play. Griffin, Clark and Sandlands.
Found some depth there, haven't they, as a result of Sandlands' injury.
The other one where they're really lacking today, Brian's Kepler Bradley forward of centre. He's their leading goal kicker, and he's the one who can relieve in the ruck every now and then. Yeah,
a lot of the responsibility's fallen on Johnson today, hasn't he? And Bradley combined beautifully as the tall forwards last week. There's Griffin. Frawley wrapped up in the tackle. He really didn't want it to come out of there, Frawley, and he did well to disguise it.
They've gone more one-on-one here, Fremantle, just back of centre or their back end here. They've been going the press all day, but it's more one-on-one now, Brian.
Okay. Just off the ball, Kimmy's talking about. Behind it, you can see that very clearly. Ball goes over the line out of bounds. We might get a chance to have a look at that here now. If we just pull back a little, we can see the one-on-one contests all over the ground. There is one of them.
Well, that's been a pretty good duel. Sylvia's only had 7, Hill 5, so they're negating each other. I think Mark Harvey will try and release Hill. He's doing a really good job defensively. We get no attack through Hill.
Maloney comes out wide, fortunate to Watts. Watts can go along the boundary where he didn't have an option or take it back inside. Trouble. He thought his way out of it and he didn't panic. In the end, McKenzie got caught with it, but it's a Fremantle ball on the wing.
Yeah, and Jack Watts was probably right in the not going long the first time because he was outnumbered deep, so he had to hold the ball up, but in the end, too much pressure from Fremantle.
Oh, boy, Duffield handball it straight to Morton. Not sure whether he fell for the old 2-card trick there. But that was something reminiscent out of Spud's era, where you call for it as an opposition and you get it. Yep. Martin.
The old 2-card trick, Brian.
Absolutely. Morton head over at one at Watts, trying to make amends. This time he does. I like the way he doesn't panic Watts in tight confines like this. Duffield intercepts in the end.
There's the handball.
Yep.
Just straight to the opposition. Carl Morton liked that one.
He must have called for it.
I think Ibbotson, Broughton, called for it, but didn't. He shouldn't have called because Morton was in the vicinity. It was a bad call.
Main to Hill. Just won't let Hill onto his left foot, will they? They're forcing him to handball a lot. Not unlike teams are doing with Lindsay Gilbey, forcing him to handball rather than kick these days.
Leave them open.
Rivers it was with the intercept punch. Watts, clever tap, further afield. Here's Green, outside runner. Opportunity here. Trent Gove, little left footer on the heels of Jara on the toes. In fact, couldn't get it. Down low, did well. Ibbotson, Mazungu, Jara, De Boer. Did he push him in the back? Umpire said no. The Mazungu handball is good. Got it under Clancy. Clancy to Johnson. Johnson marks.
Well, kick through the second quarter. He's getting hold of Garland now, Johnson.
Pavlich was by himself in the goal square. Was just probably assessed it well, Johnson. He was on the back foot and would have been very difficult to kick the ball 45 metres to Pavlich, who was free.
Real problems down here, boys, for Ryan Crowley. He's come to the bench in all sorts of pain. I think it's some sort of thigh issue or groiny issue.
I'll give you a couple of seconds to sum that up, Kingy. We might get back to you. There is Ryan Crowley while Johnson lines up for his 4th goal. He got all 3 in the second quarter. From 48 metres out, punt road end. No, just a minus score. So back to David King, just on Ryan Crowley. Kingy, what do you reckon?
I think he's done for the day, Brian. He's got some real problems down here. There's a bit of concern on the doctor's face and clearly Ryan's face as well. So I think it's some sort of groin issue.
Just have a look at Liam Jara there. He's really out of form at the moment. He started on the bench. He's only had the 3 disposals. Just needs to find a way through this little bit of a lull at the moment, Liam Jara.
If his form continues in this game as it is, Spud, do they play him next week or do they give him a rest?
He's trying to do something in the next quarter and a half, too.
Okay, Morton just got rid of it, avoiding the Pavlich.
He might get used here, Jara. Ran a second.
He's free now. Here he is, Liam Jara. Oh boy, a bit of a fumble inside handball. Jones got to get around the ball. Another tackle from behind. Didn't help him in the end, but the mark's been taken deep. Trent Gove, handball to the runner Martin into the open goal.
Great running, Martin.
Great thought by Trent Gove.
Spot on, Brian. That is a young player with a good footy brain, and Jack Trengove just waited until Stephen Martin had worked extremely hard. See, just the out of form Liam Jara, but he got involved and composed himself to get the handball across to Jones. But here, now this is when it was always going to be a very difficult shot. Stephen Martin's working hard to the goal square, so just floated it over the top. And that's great work. Very impressed by Stephen Martin today. He's been in some very good touch and racking up plenty of the ball.
We see Stephen Martin on the bench. You talk about rucks, boys. When J-Mar comes back, Stephen Martin's grown in stature. He's kicked the 2 goals. What a great weapon Dean Bailey will have. He's had the 16 disposals, so Jamar and Martin is a great duo.
And that's when you've got two genuine ruckmen, but can play forward 50 arc and take contested marks. So I think it's going to be a real asset for Melbourne moving forward.
The goals to Martin today. Complimenting his good ruck work and forward work. Here's Watts, almost marked it out in front. A difficult one to catch in the end. McFarlane wrapped up in a tackle, squeezed, and the umpire said incorrect disposal. Gee, I didn't think he had prior opportunity there. Sylvia can get it over the top, looking for and finding Green. And Green will now line up for his 5th goal.
Forward line pressure was non-existent last week. They've come to play today, the D's. Just the entries, the rebounds from Freo have all been under pressure, and the turnovers, it's the best way to score in AFL football now.
It is, and they're not reliant on just Green or just Watts. There's been a number of targets inside 50. Green, Watts and Stephen Martin, as you mentioned before, Pettart as well.
Brad Green for the 3rd consecutive Demon goal of the 3rd quarter. He bends it back too much.
Yeah, well, there's no coincidence. Collingwood and Carlton are ranked number 1 and 2 for forward line tackles inside your forward 50. You win the ball, you keep the ball in there, and then you reset your press.
Do you have the stats that are wide into your house, Bud? Do you get it home and have them automatically wide in? They fed into your unit down at Brighton?
No, it just comes naturally, Brian.
You are a stats guru. Here's Pavlich. Very thorough in his preparation of footy is Danny Frawley. Barlow squeezed the trigger, got it to the left-footed Hill. He sights to the punt road end to the right-hand side. Minor score.
Their point, but they could get hurt on transition here. Just the spread. Jack Watts has worked hard. Oh, it's a bad kick, though.
Couldn't get to him. Duffield too far out for him to score here. And just about every Melbourne player, bar 2, back inside the defensive 50 now.
Long to Clark on Morton.
It's the direction he goes. Gee, it's got good carry, the ball. In the end, it got there.
Probably too much carry in the end.
Yeah.
I think it surprised everyone.
Danger signs for Melbourne a little bit. Stephen Hill's had 4 disposals already this quarter and looks dangerous. So just need to be aware that he's one player for Freo that can open the game up.
Young ball boy in the background there, in the bird's eye view, the ball boys that look after the balls behind the goals these days. Martin, up they go. No winner in the air off hands here. Maloney. Little chip out in front. Got to go here. Trent Gove. Hill did well to spoil and then push off the body. The ball went out at Pettard, went lower and harder. It was a good effort. Ibbotson, Hill ran to the brick wall. They try and keep it alive for now in the end. Over the line.
Good look at the boundary line.
In 5 of the last 7 they have Melbourne. Mark Harvey coaching from the boundary line these days. You heard the umpire, you grabbed his arm. Zach Clark has it.
Gets Martin. So have a look at the 4 line for Freo there. There's not much to go to. All he can do is go short.
Beautifully placed kick, allowing Barlow to play on straight away. High ball. Johnson couldn't get back. Rivers at the back. Fife bearing down on him. Here's McDonald. Through a bit of traffic. Smart little kick to centre half back in the hands of Howe.
Like his game, BT. Makes good decisions and really good skills. As a half forward, he's put 4 inside 50 and 3 goal assists. So a player growing stature for Melbourne.
Nicholson, the 3-gamer to Scully onto Jones. A hammering long ball by Jones to Pettard. Dangerous in the air. Look for the second bite. Now he wants to do it at ground. Tried to get it to Jarrah. Missed him. He said he'll go again. Magnificent play by Pettard to get it to Watts. Now the hard nut McKenzie comes through. Watts has another go, but he won't get out of this one.
And again, David King. That's a win for Melbourne.
Huge result that. Their forward pressure has been fantastic today, but that's their game plan. Springboard off that counter-attack area at half-back and lock it in their forward line.
Chris Bond down there with Mark Harvey, in charge of footy operations down there, oversees the whole project. De Boer outlined with a kick. The stodgy McDonald gets hold of it, sends it backward, gives some time to Bartram. He nurses the kick inside and finds Howe.
Good pass.
What's the kick from this boy? He's got great composure.
He sets up well, doesn't he?
Wasn't his best,
that wasn't his best, but I know what you mean. He looks like
he does.
It's a spread.
Yeah. Here's Rivers.
Well, there's no use going in because you look at Freo, there's just about every Freo player inside their forward 50.
Every player on the ground forward of where Rivers kicked
choice. Yeah, good call, Spud. They probably had to go back the other way.
Exactly.
Just soak up the pressure. I mean, the crowd gets frustrated at times, but you've got to just resist the reacting to the crowd, the boos, but just chip it back into the corridor where they were outnumbering Fremantle.
Hill had 3 opportunities to go to an unmanned Mazungu, waited for him to be manned up and then went to him.
Yeah, and that's what AFL footy's all about, making the correct decision. And that is just a terrible decision there.
That player, Gawn, wasn't there for about 30 seconds of that. Remarkable decision in the end by Hill. Scully on his favourite side. Watch offers the lead. They're on his tail, two of them. Over the top goes lower, pushes Jones out of the way. Handball, Main's got a bit of space, got to deal with a page of the Herald Sun. Drifting through there. An opportunity now for Book of Arts. The first gamer. He'll get the give and go back. Book of Arts with some nice composure. Got it inside 50. Poor kick, Garland.
Yeah, just blazed away. And the Fremantle player, I think it is, Book of Arts is down off the ball.
He is. He's receiving some attention at the moment. Look at that full kick.
There's been a lot of turnovers the last couple of minutes. Both players, David King, looks like they're playing a couple of extras behind the ball each team.
Yeah, they are. It just requires a little bit of composure, a little bit of time here. That's quite a dangerous area to kick it there, boys.
Well, he's just winded Book of Arts. I suggest he gets up and gets on with it. Opportunity now. Backing up on that occasion. Was it Frawley or Rivers? Might have been Frawley. Here is Scully. Dispossessed. Gee, they were vicious at Barlow. Did well to get it away in the end.
Well, pressure from both teams has been very good. And I think that's the thing that's really got Fremantle back in the game in the parts of the second quarter and in different stages of this quarter. I mean, it is a 36-point margin, but their tackling pressure has been good as well.
A very resilient Melbourne here at the moment. Fremantle have had a couple of little mini charges and Melbourne have been able to respond each time. Sylvia, beautiful clean hands, kick around the body. Watch presenting again, McFarlane behind, but it is a 2-on-1. In the end, really well done by McFarlane. Didn't need the help. Here's Book of Arts, recovered from the winding. Kick is good, and Fife will take the mark.
They're outnumbered deep, Melbourne. 3-on-2.
The knife goes to Johnson, taken away from him by Garland.
Both forwards led to the pocket for Freo, though. You're right, Alistair. They had Melbourne outnumbered.
Yeah.
They both led to the boundary line.
Yeah, and that just squared up the numbers beautifully. It had to separate the Melbourne defenders. It worked into Joel McDonald and his teammates' hands.
Brilliantly disguised handball there from McDonald. Straight out of bounds.
Yeah.
He just raised the eyebrow.
You're right. We all knew what he was doing, and he disguised it magnificently.
Absolutely he did. Another 2-on-1. This is happening a lot in the Melbourne 450. Big Gawn almost was gone. There's McFarlane in the end. Stripped away Scully. Gets an open look at the goal. 50 out. No one in the goal. 3 needs a good bounce. Got it. Boycher on the backside. The Demons.
Magnificent from Gawn. You can talk about the ruckman. When your ruckman's tackling and creating turnovers,
and he's outnumbered as well.
Have a look. He's got the ball here. Handball to the ground. Goes McFarlane and gives it to Tringo. That is a magnificent team goal. That will be in the highlights reel for the Melbourne Footy Club review tomorrow. I've got no doubt Dean Bowe will say, doesn't matter whether the biggest man or the smallest man, we need to tackle when you're in that opportunity, and that's been the highlight of their game today, their tackling pressure.
All 3 goals in the third quarter, Melbourne. They're 42 points in front. I reckon they're 1 goal away from getting Fremantle to give it away mentally.
Well, they could, because Fremantle have been trying to work hard with their tackling pressure, but their efficiency forward has been down. But Melbourne just continue to grind away, and when they go inside 50, they're dangerous. On that occasion, it was Trengove, and Gawn was fantastic. His speed over that first 5 metres to lay the tackle was exceptional.
And one thing Melbourne have done, they've won the clearances this quarter, 7-4. We thought at half-time, Freo 20-10 in Freo's favour. If that trend continues, Freo will be in the game, but Melbourne have reset.
Pavlich, Barlow, De Boer, Maloney and Morton, Sylvia. An immediate bounce. He says, someone come at me. Martin offers. McFarlane caught behind Martin.
Right.
Lovely jukes over the top. And 50. And he's saying, but he was going around. But unless the umpire calls play on, you can't approach over the mark.
Exactly. We've seen that across the weekend. You can't anticipate the call, and that is a fantastic mark. Contested mark against a very good opponent in Luke McFarlane.
Martin to kick his 3rd goal. And a monster 48-point lead for the Demons with 7 remaining in the 3rd.
It's amazing when you have a look at that, and you're right, Ulster, you've got to wait for the umpire to call play on. You can see what McFarlane was trying to do. But I love the way this guy's grown in stature without Mark Jamar. He's kicked the 3 goals, and you just see there McFarlane encroaching on the mark. The umpire hadn't called play on. It was always going to be a 50, and what turned out to be a very difficult shot became a soda in front. But he deserves his effort because he's had the 17 disposals. He's worked really hard and kicked 3 goals.
Bad blue from McFarlane there.
Yeah, disappointing from McFarlane. Anticipated the call of play on. Stephen Martin and Gawn have been involved in the last 2 goals. The 2 big ruckmen going forward have been very dangerous.
Yeah, well, they've taken 5 contested marks inside their forward 50. And we didn't see that last week, so it's well coached from Dean Barley to put the tools down there, and can only get better when Jamar comes back.
7 of the last 9 goals, Melbourne, as we blast all these stats at you. Look at the amount of players around this stoppage.
And heard Dean Barley during the week on the radio talking about when Jamar comes back, he'll play a lot forward.
Yeah.
And that's really going to help straighten them up as well.
Well, they've struggled to draw the ball to that dangerous position. Martin's doing it well, Gawn's doing it, and even Jack Watts. I don't think I've seen him draw the ball naturally, but he's doing it today.
Jones to Jurra. Missed him on the pass and got to knock it out here. He could be well pinged. Picked up in the end by Trent Grove. Did he throw it or handball it? Here is Jurra on his left side. He's desperate for a goal. Look at the 1-on-3 here against Green. 1-on-4 if you like. Barlow to the rescue. Brad Green appealing optimistically.
Oh, the kick.
Back into 5's got to go. Watts did well to bring it to the ground and they lock it in. I think Fremantle have almost put the cue in the rack here.
Well, they're flustered, and that comes from the pressure that has been applied by Melbourne throughout the gate. Look at the kick in there. It's a rushed kick in, but it's short to an extremely dangerous position. It was a low percentage kick, even if it did come off. So good work from Melbourne.
De Boer in low. Griffin there. De Boer trying to charge through the defence. So it's a game-high 49-point margin now in favour of Melbourne. And I mentioned before the game that the Fremantle Dockers haven't won since round 4 in 2007 here. The last team they beat here was, in fact, Melbourne, back in round 4, 2007. So the MCG is not their favourite ground. They did win at Etihad twice last year, I think it was. Ball back inside 50 here. Ibbotson gathers. Crichton and Ibbotson whacks.
Again, the forward pressure from Melbourne. Have a look at the indecision.
Barlow, the ball magnet, is now the most possessions for Fremantle. He has 20. That is remarkable in a comeback game with basically 12 months off with such a broken leg. I don't think a player with that injury has ever before come back with such staggering stats.
He's been good and very little preparation. I mean, let's be serious. It was a reserves game in Western Australia, then one senior game, and he's come back to the AFL level very well.
Petted. Yeah, he's had the 20 disposals, 9 kicks, 11 handballs, and he's a little bit rusty with his
effectiveness.
Kicking effectiveness, going at 22%. You expect that, and look, that'll lift.
Touch rusty, isn't it? 22%.
But he's got plenty of it.
Yep, he has. Here is Fife.
Got nowhere to go.
So he handballs over the top. The linking run from Hill. This is what they need. Look at that for a penetrating run. He's got Main one-on-one. That is a beautifully placed kick from Hill.
Well, he's the man that can get them going, Stephen Hill. We talk at half-time, and he has lifted. He's had 6 disposals in this quarter, a couple of inside 50s, and it's one player that Dean Barley and the coaching staff. Jack Tringove here, you've seen the tackle. He just comes out of the tackle holding his left hand. I think it could have been a finger dislocation.
Yeah, caught in the jumper there.
But look at the run from Hill. That's what they need more of, Freo.
Perfect kick out in front of Main.
The long-legged Hill, for such a term. Main directly in front. Haven't kicked one since the last part of the second quarter. Main gets that for Fremantle.
And it's getting towards time on of the third term. They need to back this up with another goal and certainly generate a few more forward 50 entries. That is the run, and he was given a bit of space by his teammates as well, Hill, and he just ran hard and carries the ball so well. And with the time and space, good shepherd from Zach Clark. And as we touched on, perfect kick into a dangerous position for Main just to run onto. Very difficult for the Melbourne defenders to stop that.
Chris Main in game 48 gets his second consecutive goal for the Fremantle Dockers.
And the kicking effectiveness this quarter, they need more of that, Freo. They're going at 43% this quarter, so you're not going to win too many quarters of football butchering the ball like that.
As against Melbourne at 69%. There is McKenzie, pushed out of the way by De Boer. Appeared that he got him in the side. Few in the crowd thought otherwise. Morton can go over the top to Sylvia. Sylvia, as De Boer comes at him, goes casually over the top to Strauss, and now back to Sylvia. Centering ball, watch Jarrah over the top, couldn't quite get hold of it. Just the handwork from Jarrah, not what it has been. McFarlane lucky to get away, Ibbotson. Crichton, risky little kick.
Another poor kick.
Kicking efficiency, ordinary. Another poor handball. Caught with a perfect tackle there. Fife selling some foot candy, did it nicely. Back inside to Clark, couldn't stretch enough to get it. He's got protection though. Out of the loop here, I think it might be Hinkley over the top. The kick had a little bit too much on it. Rivers got a poor bounce, but he recovers.
Now, should come to the far side if Melbourne can maintain possession. They should be able to hurt Freo on the transition.
And there it is, as Alistair Lynch predicted. Bartram, talk about hurt. Here is a hell of a lot of it as Jones gathers with a panic. Can do anything at all he wants. Got within 52, hammered the ball in low, and the mark, in the end, is taken by Howe.
Copybook football.
Much to the polite applause from the Demon supporters.
Yeah, but it was a magnificent passage of play. Probably the passage of the game. Quick transition. You absolutely spot on, Lynchy. To the open side, run the ball to Jones. More importantly, kick the ball. But I really like this guy. I like the way he goes about. He makes good decisions. He leads hard and he marks the ball well.
Howe is the man Spud speaks of. Only 20 metres out. Shouldn't have any trouble here, and he has hung it out way outside the right edge of the hip. And a pretty ordinary effort there.
Yeah, not a great attempt by the youngster, but work rate again. Defensive... Fremantle were pushing big numbers back defensively, so Melbourne have been outnumbered, but they still managed to hold the ball in very well and work hard on that transition and spread. So work rate's what it's all about, but when Fremantle get the ball, they just turn it over far too easy. Oh, no.
Interception here by Nicholson. Plays on, gives the handball off to Sylvia. Boy, coming at him fast was Hill, was it? Or... no, it was the first gamer in Book of Arts.
Yeah, he just
took the pressure.
Took 2 steps too many then, Sylvia. I was great that he was trying to get on his right leg, but probably a couple of steps too many to the pressure come onto his kicking leg.
David King, I see Barlow still out there and trying to sneak forward at times. How long do you think before he might be subbed out of the game?
Oh, I think it won't be long, Brian. Another couple of goals and their day's over regardless, so I'll be looking to concentrate on protecting him now.
In fact, I'm sorry,
well,
he can't
already
be.
off.
Yeah, Grover's already off under the sub. Sorry about that. Book of Arts is already on, so whether they use him sparingly off the bench is their only choice now. Here is Zach Clark. Forgotten all about that. Short ball into the man we speak of, Barlow, and this will be a goal for Barlow, or a genuine opportunity to get his first goal on return. He has so far.
But another possession inside 50 for Michael Barlow. He's been very good. He's working hard forward of centre. And if they kick this goal, they might keep him out there for a bit longer. But I think we'll see less time in the last quarter if he doesn't.
20 possessions is a long run up to try and gain some momentum, and he misses it to the left-hand side, Michael Barlow. So they don't have the luxury of using the sub with him now. So I just wonder whether they will go with the 2 rotations in the last quarter.
Well, if it remains about 50 points the difference early in the last quarter, you might just have to cut his minutes down in the last term.
Or just keep him as a deep forward.
Yeah, well, that's maybe a point.
He's had 9 disposals in the forward 50. He's their leading contested possession player down there. I'm wondering what the other forwards are doing, Brian. He's had a third of their disposals in the forward 50, Barlow.
And we're talking about a guy that hasn't played for a year. It's a good question, Kingy. Zach Clark. High ball on the head here. Johnson jumps at it. Maloney, the front and centre. A bit of a fumble there. Main tries to lock it in. We've got just the 30-odd seconds remaining in this third quarter.
Well, Garland is hurt his left ankle, I think, and he's in a bit of strife just behind play, and he's limping badly trying to find his man.
It's exactly the quarter Melbourne wanted, though. 4 goals 5 to 1 goal 4 in Melbourne's favour this quarter.
Indeed it was. It is.
I think Garland thinks he's in strife too. He's not happy with that ankle.
So he hasn't recovered. as yet. Nathan Fife in there, as you can see.
He's really struggling, Garland.
Hobbling in the back left there.
Have a look at the numbers around the ball.
Way to the dugout.
Martin, a high ball in the direction of the dugout. In they come, the Dockers. Gee, Ed Lower was desperate to get a fist on it. He did, but collected his teammate and hurt himself. As a result, Broughton is also down.
Garland off the ground, and he'll get that ankle checked. And he looks pretty disappointed, a bit concerned about that injury. I'm not sure what his previous injury that's kept him out for a while.
It was a foot injury that kept him out.
Oh, well, that's not good. Here's the jump, and he's rolled that left ankle. He's come down on the boot of the Fremantle Dockers player.
So the end of the third quarter sees a Demon lead by some 44 points. Can they hang on? Let's face it, everything has to go right for Fremantle from here on in. 96 plays 52.